सारी क्लास ली है मैंने।
Okay. Please mute yourself, all of you. I don't think so Kriti आएंगी. So I'm going to the presentation is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम।
Okay. Okay, without wasting time, we will start the introduction part of articular neurology. Why we are discussing about this topic? This is the basic of your manual therapy, as we discussed the uh, barrier concepts and Freitas law. Why we are reading this thing? Because whenever you are going to apply any manual therapy, the basic thing is that you should know all the basic principles of moving a joint. कैसे आपको न्यूरोलॉजिकल वे में, कैसे आपको रूल्स में कौन से प्रिंसिपल के अकॉर्डिंग कौन सा जॉइंट किस direction में move करेगा, including the results also. So we are discussing these basic topics of the manual therapy. Rest you all have described very well, like your rest position, your joint position, joint status, and these are the things which I am teaching you with, including the pain and the Freitas law, barrier concept. I have teached you na barrier concept. मैंने पढ़ा दिया है.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, ओके. तो यही रह गया था, सिर्फ पार्टिकुलर न्यूरोलॉजी रह गया था. With this, the syllabus will be finished. And this week किसी ने भी मुझे आर्टिकल नहीं भेजा है, so that we can discuss thing. एक ही आर्टिकल था लास्ट वीक जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे.
Yes, ma'am.
बट इस बार किसी ने भी नहीं भेजा है. ठीक है. So what is articular neurology? What is the introduction? What is the articular neurology? The articular neurology is that branch of the neurological sciences that concerns itself with the study of the anatomical, physiological, and clinical features of the nerve supply of the joint systems in various parts of the body. It's not only reading or teaching about the neurology of the particular segment, but all the study of the anatomy, physiology, and the clinical features of the nerve supply of the joint. Okay, as such, it is clearly of relevance not only to neurologists and neurosurgeons, but also to orthopedic and physical medicine specialists and to physiotherapists. Nevertheless, object of specific and organized investigation. So, what is the extrinsic and intrinsic innervation of the synovial joint through which you got the sensation? So each synovial joint in the body has a dual pattern of nerve supply. First is by primary articular nerves that reaches the joint capsule and ligaments as independent branches of adjacent peripheral nerves, often in company with articular blood vessels. So this is clear that कैसे हमारा आर्टिकुलर नर्व्स हैं that is attaches to the joint capsule and ligaments as the independent branches. Okay, so and second one is the by accessory articular nerves, जो प्राइमरी हैं, जो डायरेक्टली आपका ब्रांच होती है आर्टिकुलर इसका जॉइंट कैप्सूल एंड लिगामेंट्स का, एंड जो सेकेंडरी है, एसेसरी है, जो हेल्प करते हैं आर्टिकुलर नर्व्स में, विच आर ब्रांचेस ऑफ रिलेटेड मसल्स, समटाइम cutaneous also, and the many of these latter articular nerves arise within some of the muscles that are attached to each joint capsule as intramuscular branches of various muscle nerves and reach the joint by running through the substance of the muscle. Either it is interfascicular connective tissue, which is embedded in the interfascicular connective tissue. So there is the innervation of the synovial joint through the articular nerves. So in the accessory articular nerves, what happens? The neurohistological studies have shown that each articular nerve contains a mixture of myelinated and unmyelinated nerve fibers whose diameter ranges from less than 1 micron to 13 microns. Okay, each of which has specific functional correlates conferred upon it by the particular nerve endings in the joint tissues that it constitutes fibers supply. Okay, so इसके साथ ही क्या है जो उनका जो this is the basic of your anatomy and physiology of the neurological part कि उसमें nerve fibers के diameters के according उनका कितना सप्लाई होता है और क्या चीजें कंटेन करता है एक आर्टिकुलर जो फाइबर्स होता है जो कि आपका रन करता है जिस तरह से. ओके, so a large proportion of the total number of fibers in each articular nerve has diameter of less than 5 microns. Most of these small myelinated and unmyelinated fibers are afferent in function and subserve articular pain sensation, but a small proportion of unmyelinated fibers in this group consists of visceral efferent fibers of sympathetic origin that innervates the articular blood vessels. That is to say, these later are articular vasomotor nerve fibers. Okay, how it innervates the joints as well as the organs also, it depends on the diameter of the nerve fiber, which is the large proportion and which is the small proportion, where it is a sympathetic origin or it is parasympathetic origin. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है कुछ?
यस मैम, आ रहा है समझ में.
ओके, कृति है इधर. कृति, आपको प्रेजेंट करना है अपना प्रेजेंटेशन?
यस मैम, कर दूंगी. बट मैम मेरा बहुत ऐसा नहीं बना जैसा आपका है. मेरा बहुत स्मॉल सा है, छोटा सा.
चलो तुम स्टार्ट करो. मैं ये वाला नोट्स जो है ये आपको ग्रुप पे शेयर कर दूंगी, ठीक है
मैम? और एक और नोट शेयर कर दीजिए जो रेस्टिंग पोजीशन था ना, लूज पैक्ड वाला, वो उसमें ना रिलैक्सेशन वाला किया था हम लोगों ने, रेस्टिंग पोजीशन का नहीं किया था.
मारिया, आपने किस पे रिप्रेजेंट करा था? कहाँ है मारिया?
मारिया लेफ्ट.
मारिया, ओके,
अभी ज्वाइन कर.
मारिया आपका टॉपिक क्या था? Okay, we'll discuss later. Leave it. So, moving to the next point, there is no evidence of the existence in any articular nerve of secretomotor fibers or indeed of any direct nervous influence on the production of synovial fluid other than the exerted indirectly by vasomotor nervous effect on the diameter of the particular blood vessels. Thus, the joint blood flow. Joint में blood flow कैसे होगा? This depends on the secretomotor fibers जो कि direct nervous influence करते हैं synovial fluid में. Okay, तो जो भी इसमें notes में लिखा हुआ है, these are the basic thing of your neurology, how it the neurological system affect on the joints also as well as the organs also. Okay. another large proportion, that is from somewhat 45% to 55% of the total of fibers in articular nerves consist of medium-sized myelinated fibers between 6 and 12 microns in diameter, all of which are mechanoreceptor afferent. Because sensation how it goes नहीं आपको याद होगा, अगर reflex arc याद होगा तो उसमें how the sensation you get and how it reflect as the result of your central nervous system. ओके तो उसमें डिपेंड करता है कि जो हम बेसिक पढ़ रहे हैं कि किसका कितना डायमीटर होता है, उसके हिसाब से वो सेंसेशन कैसे कैरी करता है. ओके, so this is to say these nerve fibers innervates small corpuscular end organs of varying morphology located mainly in the fibrous capsules and fat pads of the joints, which respond to changing mechanical stresses in these tissues and which subserves reflexogenic and kinesthetic function. Okay, we are simply talking about how, जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले भी समझाया था कि अगर आप रिहैब दे रहे हो, ओके, रिहैब में आपके कुछ पोर्शंस होते हैं जिसमें यू हैव टू इम्प्रूव द प्रोप्रियोसेप्शन एज वेल एज द बैलेंसिंग एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन थिंग्स. व्हाई, क्यों करते हैं हम, क्यों आपको पेन का सेंसेशन का कैसे पता चलेगा, पेन गेट थ्योरी है, ओके, but how pain is coming from your central nervous system, which fibers are getting the sensation, the pain from the outside and then converting in the sensation in the central nervous system, and then the result as a pain in your joint as well as in the organ. That is the basic. Please mute yourself. So this will depend on the afferent and efferent nerve fibers. So depending, why we are discussing the size of the diameter of the particular nerve, so that it can carry the pain sensation, abnormal sensation to the main system, and the you will find the result or abnormal movement or any other abnormality in the joints as well as the soft organs. A third small proportion of fibers consists of very large myelinated fibers between 13 and 17 by 1 in diameter that are also mechanoreceptor afferent. However, these latter innervates very large corpuscular end organs of relatively high threshold that are confined to the joint ligaments, and thus this third group of afferent fibers is absent from those articular nerves that do not contribute branches to extrinsic or intrinsic joint ligaments. Their function appears to be entirely reflexogenic. Okay, कैसे joints और ligament में sensation है through the third proportion of the small proportion of the fibers, which is composed of your myelinated fibers, where second one was your unmyelinated fibers. So this depends on, and what is the mechanoreceptors innervation? So in the articular neurology, the functional innervation of the joint is facilitated by mechanoreceptors and allows the body to perceive where it is in space. This is known as proprioception. क्या बात कर रही थी अभी? We have to improve the proprioception, that is your target. But what is proprioception? Why you are going to improve proprioception? So that the sensation of the pain got down, or you can improve the loss of pain sensation. Okay, these are 4 types of mechanoreceptors, type 1, 2 and 3, and are encapsulated and found in joints and peri-articular tissues. These initially 3 types, and type 4 is a free nerve ending which is not encapsulated and is known as the nociceptor 3. Okay, समझ में आया? Mechanoreceptor which carries the pain sensation of 4 types. First 3 types are encapsulated and in कहाँ पर होते हैं आपके para-articular tissues में होते हैं, whether it is shoulder joint, knee joint, hip joint, and the 4th type of free nerve ending, the type 4 is a free nerve endings which is not encapsulated and also known as the nociceptor 3 mechanoreceptors. The nociceptors do not adapt, meaning that they keep firing. As a result, muscle tension is triggered, which then restricts joint motion. See how the pain perception is there, okay, in the form of nociceptors, and how your joint range of motion got restricted through the nociceptors. Again, this is the afferent and efferent nerve fibers. Simply अगर आप बहुत बेसिक में जाओगे, एक सिंपल डायग्राम याद होगा जिसमें if you got any pinching pain, then you reflect and your mind gets alert, and then in the result what you do, you just withdraw your body or withdraw your arm by that pitching sensation, correct? So this is your reaction of your mind. So this is the basic how it works. Same thing with these nociceptors and mechanoreceptors innervation, how you feel the pain sensation. Okay, nociceptors are also reflexively activate the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this leads to a hyper excitable central state that can present as pain, sweating, pallor, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, sinus congestion, dyspnea, palpitations, or chest pain. Okay, when mechanoreceptors are stimulated through motion, nociceptive signals are inhibited. Okay, the types of motion that can stimulate the mechanoreceptors can be active or passive ROM, exercise, body workout, and osseous manipulation. So these are the things which can stimulate the mechanoreceptors. Okay, then restricted ROM, that is the fixation or decreased joint play, causes an increased firing in nociceptive axons. Therefore, a decrease in joint motion may cause an increase in the perception of pain. This can be correlated with your osteoarthritis knee. Okay, तो अगर किसी का joint of motion reduce हो गया है और joint play means कि उसका डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम है वो रिड्यूस हो गया है, तो क्या होगा, उसको पेन परसीव करता है वो, और पेन परसीव करता है, सो दैट कैन इंक्रीज द परसेप्शन ऑफ पेन. वो बोलेगा मुझे बहुत पेन हो रहा है 2-3 दिन से. तो दिस इज थ्रू योर mechanoreceptor innervation, and normally simply the afferent and efferent nerve fibers through the nervous system. So osseous manipulation or controlled motion stimulates the joint and periarticular mechanoreceptors relay system, which results in presynaptic inhibition of the nociceptive afferent pain fibers at the level of the spinal cord. This serves to inhibit pain transmission and also the hyperexcitable central state, leading to a state of relaxation or feeling of well-being. How you feel the pain or perception of pain through the articular or through the mechanoreceptor innervation, and then again what the manipulation did. If you are simply moving a joint, that can control the motion or that can stimulate the joint periarticular mechanoreceptor relay system, so that that reduces your pain perception, or whatever the things are going to increase, that will be inhibited. In conjunction with the somatic benefits of manipulation, increased joint play, realignment, and pain relief, about 1 in 4 patients get positive non-musculoskeletal benefits after manipulation. Why I am teaching you this? Because whenever you are going to give the manual therapy in the form of Maitland, in the form of MFR, in the form of HVLA, what happening, how the patient get reliefs. Okay, due to the inhibition of the sympathetic nervous system. These benefits could include easier breathing, improved digestive function, reduced abdominal pain, clearer or sharper vision, improved hearing, and improved circulation. So this is an example of enhancing the self-regulatory system of the body, that is the stimulating the medicatrix natura. Okay, this is the kind of hormone. अंडरस्टूड? अभी तक समझ में आ गया सबको? कोई डाउट है अभी तक और हम आगे बढ़े? Okay, so there are receptors in the nervous system. How you will check the pain perception of the patient or the patient coming to you with this thing? There are the 4 receptors which will tell you how the articulation or the neurological system will work with this 4 types of receptors. The type 1 receptors, a group of globular or ovoid corpuscle with a very thin capsule that are similar to those described originally by Ruffini in subcutaneous and facial connective tissue. Okay, so what are the type 1 receptors? This is the group of globular or ovoid corpuscles, okay, which is originally defined by the Ruffini in the subcutaneous and the facial connective tissue. They are numerous in the capsular tissues in all the limbs joint, the apophyseal joints of the vertebral column and the temporomandibular joints, although their population density differs in the individual joints. These are the 3 kind of joints in which there you will find the type 1 receptors, or it works, the type 1 receptors work depending on the density of your individual joint. For example, in the limbs, the type 1 receptors appears to be more densely distributed in the proximal, for example, the hip joints, than in the more distal. If we are taking the lower extremity as a segment, we are taking the lower extremity, then the type 1 receptors appear to more dense in the hip joint, that is the proximal joint, compared to the distal joint. Whilst the spine, they appear to be more numerous in relation to the apophyseal joint of the cervical region than elsewhere in each joint in which they are present. Okay. Then type 1 receptors are located mainly in the superficial layers of the fibrous capsule, within which they are distributed tridimensionally in cluster of up to 6 corpuscles per cluster, and each such cluster is supplied by the fine terminal branches of a single myelinated afferent axon that is some 6 microns to 9 microns in diameter. Within the capsule of each individual joint, the cluster of type 1 receptors shows regional differences in their distribution density, in general being more numerous on those aspects of the joint capsule that undergo the greater changes in stress during natural joint movement. If you will check the pain gate theory or the sensation, you will find the how you feel the pain perception, correct, how they are settled as the anatomical position, what is the anatomy of that particular nerve fibers, or how it is situated there in that particular area, and how works physiologically. Type 1 receptors behave a low threshold, slowly adapting mechanoreceptors responding to the changing mechanical stresses obtaining in the part of the fibrous capsule in which they lie. किस तरह से साइनोवियल जॉइंट है, साइनोवियल जॉइंट में वहां पर आर्टिकुलर एरिया में किस तरह से वो फाइबर्स आपके लोकेटेड हैं एनाटॉमिकली, एंड देन हाउ फिजियोलॉजिकली दे ट्रांसफर्स द लोड्स फ्रॉम द कैसे वो लोड को चेंज करते हैं in the particular joint or fibrous capsule. For this reason, the proportion of the lowest threshold type 1 receptors in each joint capsule is always active in every position of the joint, even when it is immobile. जब immobile होता है तब भी type 1 receptors work करते हैं each joint capsule में, वो उनके low threshold पर होता है. Okay? Then this resting discharge usually has a frequency of 10 to 20 impulses per second and is generated partly by the stresses created regionally within the joint capsule by the varying degrees of tone in the muscle attached to it, okay, and partly by the overall capsular stress created by the fact that the intracapsular pressure is normally somewhat between 5 to 10 mm of Hg, less than the external atmospheric pressure. Okay, so alteration either increases or decreases in the rate of this resting discharge occur whenever the joint is moved actively and passively by the manipulation. जब भी हम मैनिपुलेशन करते हैं, how it works according to the tone of the muscle attached to it, how this resting discharge will work. Okay, so by manipulation, whenever the tension in the related muscle changes isotonically or isometrically, or whenever the pressure gradient between the interior of the joint and the atmosphere is altered sufficiently. So what we will add in the addition as the mechanical stress in particular parts of the joint capsule increases with the active and passive movement or with isometric changes in muscle tone. So additionally, type 1 receptor clusters of increasing threshold are recruited serotonin, thereby augmenting the total quantum of afferent activity being discharged along with the articular nerves into the central nervous system. Okay, so the last point of the type 1 receptor may thus be categorized as static and dynamic mechanoreceptors whose discharge pattern signal static joint position, intra-articular or atmospheric pressure changes, and the direction, amplitude, and velocity of the joint movements produced actively and passively. This is the simple conclusion or the summarized form of the type 1 receptors. What is the function of the type 1 receptors, how it works in the manual therapy. Okay, now there is type 2 receptors. The type 2 receptors, conical capsules with a thick multilaminated connective tissue capsule enclosing a single unmyelinated nerve terminal that ends in a bulb or a Y-shaped bifurcation near the apex of the capsule. अगर आपको एनाटॉमी याद होगी किसी एक्सॉन की, तो उसमें कहाँ से कैसे एंड होता है अनमाइलिनेटेड नर्व टर्मिनल्स, and that ends in a bulb or Y-shaped bifurcation near the apex of the capsule. Some previous workers have regarded these nerve endings as a modified form of the Vater-Penician capsules, but for reasons discussed in detail elsewhere, we do not agree with this homology. In fact, true Pacinian capsule are not found in the tissue of any joint anywhere, although they are numerous in periarticular tissues in many parts of the body. सी, जो मैं अभी पढ़ा रही हूँ ये आप लोग को तब समझ में आएगा जब आप लोग न्यूरोलॉजी का बेसिक देखोगे। एक न्यूरॉन का जो नॉर्मल एनाटॉमी और फिजियोलॉजी होती है, अगर आप वो देखोगे तब आपको समझ में आएगा कि इन द मैनुअल थेरेपी हाउ इट वर्क्स, और यू आर इफ यू आर गोइंग टू अप्लाई एनी मैनुअल थेरेपी, एनी advanced technique of manual therapy to the particular joint segment or particular area, that how it works according to the normal mechanics of your neurology, कैसे वहां पर काम करेगा आपका जॉइंट में अगर आप किसी को दे रहे हो। जैसे अभी हम बात कर रहे थे इसमें नी जॉइंट और एपोफिजियल जॉइंट, यू ऑल नो द एपोफिजियल जॉइंट, जैगएपोफिजियल जॉइंट।
यस मैम।
वो आप जब देखोगे, चेक करोगे तो हाउ इट वर्क्स इन दी जॉइंट फॉर्म, कैसे काम करता है आपका मैनुअल थेरेपी, व्हाट वुड बी द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, तब आपको ये समझ में आएगा कि मैनुअल थेरेपी में हाउ इट वर्क्स। Okay, the type 2 corpuscles are present in the fibrous capsule of all joints in numbers that vary with the particular joint, but in the limbs they are relatively more numerous in the distal joints than in more proximal joints such as hip joint. So they are also particularly numerous in the temporomandibular joints and in the intercartilaginous joints of the larynx. They are located mainly in the deeper layers of the fibrous capsules of the joints, particularly at the border between the fibrous capsule and the subsynovial fibroadipose tissues, where they often lie alongside or coil around the articular blood vessels. They are distributed in each joint capsule in cluster of 2 to 4 capsules per cluster, each such cluster being innervated by a branch of a parent myelinated afferent articular nerve fibers, somewhat 9 microns to 12 microns in diameter. This will depend on which myelinated fibers, afferent articular nerve fibers are, which type of fibers. That is the small proportion, this is large proportion, or the normal intermediate proportion. It also be noted that similar clusters of type 2 endings are present on the surfaces of the all fat pads related to synovial joint, whether these can be intra-articular or the extra-articular. So the next point is these type 2 corpuscles behave as low threshold again as the type 1 receptors, rapidly adapting mechanoreceptors. So for this reason, they are entirely inactive in immobile joints and become active for brief period only at the onset of the joint movement. This is to say, at the moment at which sudden changes of stress occur in the region of the joint capsule or fat pad in which they lie. When they are so stimulated, each cluster of type 2 receptors emits a brief high-frequency burst of impulses into the related afferent axon that lasts less than 1 second and very often less than half a second. Furthermore, as the diameter of the afferent nerve fibers innervating the clusters of the type 2 corpuscles is somewhat greater than that of the fibers innervating the type 1 clusters, the centripetal conduction velocity of the type 2 volley is faster by some 20 to 40 milli per second than that of impulses emanating from the type 1 corpuscles. In summary, now you can check the summary, then the type 2 corpuscles can be regarded solely as dynamic mechanoreceptors whose brief high velocity discharges signals joint acceleration and deceleration, whether these situations are created by active or passive joint movements. So in every receptors type, if you will go with the summary of that particular receptor, you will find the which is responsible for the acceleration, deceleration, and the enhancing the joint play of that particular joint, or reducing the joint range of motion. So all have the special role of particular receptors. So the type 3 receptors, what is that? Type 1 and type 2 capsules are joint capsule receptors primarily, but the type 3 capsules, an example, are confined to the joint ligaments, both extrinsic as well as the intrinsic. They are the largest of the articular capsules and are identical structurally with the tendon organs of Golgi, in which they appears to be the articular homologue. So each type 1 capsule is a fusiform end organs applied to longitudinally to the superficial surfaces of the joint ligaments, usually near their bony attachments, and consists of a firmly connective tissue capsule enclosing the mass of densely arborescing nerve filaments derived from a large myelinated parent afferent axon that may be up to 17 microns in diameter. A few of these capsules are found on all the extrinsic ligaments, especially in all collateral ligaments joints, like in the knee joint, in the ankle joint, in the elbow joint, when there is a collateral ligaments of the limb and spinal epiphyseal joint, that is your facet joints of the spine, and on all intrinsic joint ligaments such as the cruciate ligaments or in the knee joint, and the ligament turns capitis femoris in the hip joint. A few are also present in relation to the lateral ligament of the temporomandibular joints, but they are absent from the longitudinal and interspinous ligament of the vertebral column if you will look the anatomy of that particular segment of the joint. The type 3 capsules behave as high threshold, slowly adapting mechanoreceptors in a manner similar to that of the majority of the Golgi end organs related to the tendons. For this reason, they are completely inactive in immobile joints and only become active towards the extreme of active or passive joint movement. This is to say, when considerable stress is generated in joint ligaments. So it will also be apparent that the generation of comparable ligamentous stresses by the application of the longitudinal traction to the limbs will likewise. Okay, so and it will activate them. In all these circumstances, these type 3 capsules then emit a stream of impulses that travels centripetally at high velocity in the large diameter afferent fibers in the articular nerves into the related parts of the central nervous system. And this discharge adapts only very slowly if the extreme joint displacement or joint traction be maintained. How it affects physiologically or how it impacts the physiologically with type 3 receptors. Every receptors has its own function and how it is maintaining the normal or reduction of the pain perception, you will check. So now the last one is the type 4 receptors. What is that? The type 4 category of articular receptors nerve ending embraces the non-capsular nerve endings in the joint tissues and is represented either by lattice-like plexus of the small unmyelinated nerve fibers or free nerves ending. These terminations are derived from the smallest of the afferent fibers in the articular nerves, some of which are thinly myelinated, whilst the remainder is unmyelinated. The plexus or nervous system, the plexus or that network system of terminals is prominent in the limb, spinal epiphyseal and temporomandibular joints, in each of which is distributed throughout the fibrous capsule and the adjacent periosteum. So the articular fat pads and the adventitial sheaths of the articular blood vessels. In the capsular tissue of these joints, free nerve endings are relatively sparse, being confined largely to the extrinsic and intrinsic joint ligaments. In brief, it seems that plexus system is the main variety of the type 4 receptor ending in the fibrous capsule and joint fat pad, whereas the free nerve endings variety is more characteristics of joint ligaments. Either variety of these type 4 categories constitutes the pain receptor system. Just wait a minute. Okay, sorry. The pain receptor system of the articular tissues, and as such, the plexus and free nerve endings are entirely inactive in normal circumstances, but they become active when the articular tissues containing this type of endings are subjected to marked mechanical deformation or tension, or to direct mechanical or chemical irritation, such as may be provided by the exposure of the nerve endings to agents such as histamine, bradykinin, or 5-hydroxy tryptamine, which substances are constituents of inflammatory exudates and are produced by damaged or necrosing tissues, and you will feel the signs of inflammation in that particular segment or particular joint. So in this connection, it should be emphasized that the type 4 category of receptors is entirely absent from the synovial lining of every joint that has been examined, and is also lacking from the menisci present in the knee and temporomandibular joints and from the intervertebral disc. So there is no mechanism then whereby articular pain can arise directly from the synovial tissue or menisci in any joint, and surgical removal of synovial tissue or joint menisci likewise does not involve removal of pain sensitive articular tissues per second. Then the functions of the articular receptor systems and the nerve endings and their afferent fibers that have been described thus far are responsible for two main functional consequences: the provision of the articular sensation and the generation of reflex influences on the activity of the related striated musculature. Then the articular sensation is responsible for that the type 4 receptors and the joint tissues, by virtue of their nerve supply, are provided with two types of sensory innervation: mechanoreceptor sensation and pain sensation, the former providing the basis of the kinesthetic and postural perceptual experience. Okay, this will connect to your pain perception and the movement, abnormal movement, and the postural perception. समझ में आ रहा है कुछ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So postural and kinesthetic perception, that is to say, what is that? The conscious awareness of static joint position and of the direction, amplitude, and velocity of joint movements is provided primarily by the input from the type 1 mechanoreceptors nerve endings that have been described above, so supplemented by visual observation of joint position and movement, and by the concomitant sensory input from cutaneous mechanoreceptors located in the skin over the joints. For many years, it was erroneously believed that these type of sensation were contributed by afferent discharges reaching the brain from receptors in the striate musculature including the muscle spindles, and that both postural and kinesthetic sensation is based to a very considerable extent of perceptual awareness of the afferent discharges delivered to the paracentral and parietal regions of the cerebral cortex from the type 1 receptors, and that are distributed throughout the fibrous capsule of all synovial joint by way of collateral branches of the articular afferent fibers in the dorsal nerve roots that ascends in the posterior columns of the spinal cord to the gracile and pinnate nuclei, and their relay there from the thalamus by way of the medial lemniscus. For this reason, injuries to or diseases affecting the fibrous capsule of the joint that lead to degeneration of the corpuscular nerve endings located there in produce profound impairment of postural, and as can be shown by careful clinical examination of patients with a variety of joint injuries and diseases. So articular pain sensation, on the other hand, is generated when the plexiform or free nerve ending system located in the joint tissues is irritated mechanically or chemically, as by marked mechanical deformation or direct mechanical irritation of the fibrous capsule and ligaments of the joint, or by an intra-articular accumulation of an inflammatory exudate, the afferent impulses being delivered to the cerebral cortex by the way of spinothalamic and the spinoreticular tracts. How the sensation will go through with the afferent fibers and the efferent, and becomes the efferent through the central nervous system, it is applicable. Just hold for a second. I'm getting an important call. Just hold for a second. ओके सॉरी, मैं क्या बता रही थी?
ऑर्थोकाइनेटिक रिफ्लेक्सेस।
हाँ, तो रिफ्लेक्स इनके थ्रू पता चल रहा है आपके जॉइंट सेंसेशन में अगर पेन हो रहा है तो उसका क्या रीजन है, एंड इफ यू आर अप्लाइंग द मैनुअल थेरेपी, सो in which direction, in which way you are manipulating the anatomical structure so that this articular neurology becomes in the form of the pain relieving substances. Okay, so what is the orthokinetic reflexes? The afferent discharges from the receptors in the joint tissues also exert potent reflex influences on the activity of the limb, paravertebral, and the respiratory musculature at the spine and the brainstem levels that are of profound significance of the for physiotherapists, insofar as these reflexive effects play a major part in evoking and controlling the changes in the activity of these muscle groups that are associated with active and passive movements of joints in various parts of the body, and with the application of the limb and spinal traction. The mechanoreceptors articular reflexes, as these are less familiar to clinician than the reflex effects of mechanical and chemical stimulation of the pain receptor system in the joint tissues. Okay, so this was all about the articular neurology. From here, your syllabus has been completed now. If you have any query, you can ask me. because from next week we will discuss about the reading the articles, and if you have any doubt in any topic in the manual therapy, you can ask me. No doubt so far? मैं ये नोट सेंड कर दूंगी and just go through with the anatomy and physiology of the neurological system. Just go over the basics. Okay, आप एक बार पढ़ लोगे तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा how it works in the manual therapy. It's all about the basic anatomy and physiology of the nervous system. Okay, and the neurons. आप एक बार पढ़ लोगे तो आपको समझ आ जाएगा, and मैं अभी ग्रुप पे फॉरवर्ड कर दे रही हूँ ये नोट्स.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt so far? No. Please send me an article before the Monday so that I can discuss. And next topic will be the your reading an article again. We will discuss about the hypothesis, null hypothesis, and the types of hypothesis. How many hypotheses you can assume or you can make, and the other things are there. So normally हम देखेंगे कि हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि हम एक आर्टिकल को कैसे पढ़ सकते हैं and how you can create your topic from that article. Okay. Okay, no doubt so far. So I'm winding up the class. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.